6 kind of people exist in games. You need to identify what kind of person this student is and kind of design a little bit around them.
Using a tool don't make you more clever or a better problem solver.
If in India a lot of universities start doing this, like giving some benefit to the Olympiad folk, then there will be a lot of inflow of the student doing this.
I think CP is the best possible thing that one can possibly do in the coding realm that builds your problem solving like nothing else.
Hello everyone, welcome to the special Fireside chat at our Go for Gold camp. I am your host Deepak on behalf of Newton School of Technology. Today we'll be discussing about CP, ICPC, your journey, and what can we do for the future generation and how we can increase the competitive programming culture in India and across the world. So I hope you guys are excited and let's start. You have participated in a lot of international competitions, both as a participant and as a coach too. Like you mentioned, you have been to 7 different countries. Have you observed some difference in the preparation strategies in different countries, like how students prepare there? And what are the differences you have seen there? How do you think these insights can help here in the NST's Go for Gold camp?
The most important thing I saw is when you start, and do you start in high school or not? In some countries, they are so serious and they start when people are in high school. Like in Iran, if you win gold medal, not even entering the team. So team is 4 and gold medal is 8. You can go into any university in Iran you want. So that's a big bonus. You will see hundreds of people, they are training really hard to win in high school. The teams you see from Iran in ICPC, almost always they didn't touch the keyboard after they entered the university. But you can see that they place in some good 20 to 30 places. So they just remember what they had in high school and they implement that and that's it. This is one crucial thing that you need to start with people when they are very young. When you enter university, you come to work, you go to internship, you have a lot of distractions. But in high school, you have only very simple school lessons and that's it. So you can participate in Olympiad.
I remember you said that even if you didn't make to the team of Iran, let's say 4 people represent Iran in the IOI.
Yeah.
Even if you are in top 8, you can go to the any university, right? Yeah. If in India, a lot of universities start doing this, like giving some benefit to the Olympiad folks, then there will be a lot of inflow of the students doing this. I think in near future, like in the next 3-4 years, a lot of Indian colleges will start acknowledging mathematics Olympiad, informatics Olympiad, physics Olympiad students, so that it will give enough brownie points to the student to start early and get medals at Olympiads. So Vivek, as a co-founder of AlgoZen, which is aimed at improving employability through competitive programming, how do you see the skill learned through ICPC directly translate into industry readiness? And what insight have you gained from your time at, let's say, from your ICPC prep or Google that you can tell the student in the camp, Go for Gold initiative that we have?
Many students have this perception that your dev skills are the only thing that matters. I think there is some point where you are working with just the APIs and wrappers of languages, but then there are so many things that are working behind the scenes which many students don't even see. And when people at the top product-based companies are trying to hire students, probably all of them want people who are smart. So I think CP is the best possible thing that one can possibly do in the coding realm that builds your problem solving like nothing else. While I was prepping for ICPC, I think it's a long journey, as Arpa mentioned, that you have to start a little early. Probably in India, we all start in college.
I started in second year.
Yeah, I started
not even the first year of college.
Yeah, I started in my first year summers break. And one more thing that I feel Indian students needs to improve on is to have a long-term thinking. That most students think that, okay, I'll start later, or things have 6 month or 1 year kind of expectations. I think we're just doing for the love of solving, and maybe the goal was ICPC, which was we already knew it will take us years.
Yes.
Once we had that, I think we probably kind of kept going at it and became good at it. So this long-term thinking is very critical.
We also had this 4-year vision. So we were not very anxious about the result, that I'll do CP for 2-3 months and I will get some results. So our vision is also like in the second year we will try to go to the regionals. In the third year we will try to go to the Asia finals. In the fourth year we will try to go to the world finals. So that was our journey, and we kept on doing this, and eventually we reached there. So as an educator specializing in algorithm and data structures, how do you believe academic institutions can better prepare students for CP? Like what curriculum changes would you advocate for to align with the goals of initiative like Go for Gold?
So the first thing that I said is still working here is starting at early age. That is a big key. So for me, I spent more than half of my current age in CP. So I started when I was 12 or 13, I don't remember. There are some guys that they are good in this, but they don't know. And you know to push them to activate their intelligence. So if you have some competitive programming lecture, all of a sudden will involve with competitive programming once, at least. And maybe someone will detect their intelligence.
Yeah. So we have also started something similar here. So it's like a small CP course. Generally in my college, the data structure and algorithms are taught by very old professors. Like they are really good. They are really good in theoretical research. They are really good in the analysis of the algorithm. But the kind of nature of problems we face here, it's completely different than the kind of problems they teach. So I guess we have also started something similar, like a course, and there also we are trying that these courses should be taken by the actual programmers participating in IUI. They have very decent level. They are teaching the college students. So that kind of like sharing their knowledge.
Yeah.
So I think that will change. It will take time. So reflecting on your experience in ICPC World Finals, can you discuss a pivotal moment during that competition that taught you a valuable lesson? But let's say during your journey, right? There are times when it comes, I am not improving, I have hit a plateau. My rating is constantly fluctuating in a certain range. Now I don't know what to do. Maybe I am lacking motivation now. How do you overcome with this and kept on doing the thing?
I think there are just two simple keys that worked for me. One is having a team right from the start. So I had two friends who were doing it with me, and we all knew each of our levels. So even if someday some contest went wrong and let's say I did poorly, my friend say that no, you do really good, it's just one time, keep going on. So that push keeps you going quite often. That's one. Eventually I tried to dissect why I was able to do CP for even 3 years and others are just quitting it to 1-2 months only. The reason was after reading every problem, I used to realize, wow, this is such a beautiful problem. I'm definitely going to learn something new in this problem. So once you start having kick with that learning part, I think you hooked on to anything, and that just kept me going. In World Finals competition, we came at like 46th rank. That was good experience. Exactly. People do it for the wrong motivation. The goal is not the motivation. Like the journey has to be.
Journey and the learning should be at the forefront. So from your experience judging, let's say international competitions, what common strength and weaknesses do you see among competitors? How can like Indian teams specifically address these weaknesses to improve their standings at ICPC event?
So there are some teams in the first like 20 teams in ICPC World Finals. So leave them. Other teams in the world almost always has problem in implementation. I saw people who understood a lot of algorithms and they were creative enough, so their mind was powerful enough to be much better, but they were not good and fast in implementation. So they think that I'm not clever enough that I can solve this problem. I don't know algorithms that needed to be solved this problem. But a lot of cases, the thing is, your implementation is weak. Implementation took a long time of you that you were unable to solve that problem. Other point I want to mention about one big failure that people do is learning a lot of algorithms when they are not ready for it. Using a tool don't make you more clever or a better problem solver. Yeah. If you learn tools one by one, small tools, you get clever and better problem solver. And at the end, when you learn, for example, segment tree, that is a powerful tool, you are smart enough that solve very hard problems with segment tree. But if you learn segment tree when you are weak, you can't ever solve those problems.
Training can be done in 5 days, 10 days, 15 days. but to build culture takes a lot of time. It takes years. So how do you think that what can be the long-term changes of such initiatives? For example, let's say this camp, NST Go for Gold camp, or let's say there are some other camps too which we can organize throughout the year, some inter-college competitions that we can have. How this type of initiative can bring changes in the longer term, and what are the things that we should do to bring that culture?
I think the first thing that we have to realize that it has to be a give back kind of a nature that has to be built in the students, right? So suppose whatever we are doing, probably like let's say this camp or any such initiative that we are taking off, students who are going through it, they need to have a really good experience, they need to appreciate the effort, and they need to feel that there was something, this was a major turning point for them, that it helped them in certain way. And once they realize that, I think anybody who has a little moderate to high empathy, they generally tend to give back to the society in a sense that, okay, I have got these things. If my college juniors or even like in general, anybody is kind of reaching out to me, I tend to like reply and try to help them as much as possible, right? Give back nature is there in that student. If that can be built, that is something that will probably do this work. I believe that there are performers and there are also people who build good communities. These two skills are distinct. If you can identify people who are good at that and help them also become performer, there's nothing better than that.
What strategic framework do you believe should be adopted by Indian teams to optimize their performance at international competitions? And how can NST's training can facilitate these frameworks?
Majorly what I have seen working is, number one, it has to be an amalgamation of proper motivation as well as really good training. This has to be there. There has to be someone who understands what category this person lies in. There is a gamification theory around it. 6 kind of people exist in games. You need to identify what kind of person this student is and kind of design a little bit around them. That's one thing I've learned. Second thing that goes in this is there has to be some standardized things like books, some curriculum design for school. This is where you start for in class 7th or class 9th, anywhere. Like for JEE, if you go and ask, probably every coaching will start telling you, okay, this is the curriculum, this is how you start at class 9th, class 7th, everything. All standard syllabuses exist. But there has to be some recommendation or standard syllabuses that exist around there. And probably starting at school is the...
Starting at school is important. I have seen few folks who started late but did pretty good. Started in, let's say, second year and reached, let's say, 2600, 2700 by the end of fourth year.
I think that system works randomly, but if you want to build a system, it has to start at school.
Yeah. So I also kind of trying to analyze students. Sometimes I start recommending them and you solve problems which are just beyond your comfort zone. What specific policies or initiative can educational policy maker introduce to create a pipeline for nurturing competitive programming talent in India from a young age? And how can, let's say, government collaborate with tech companies or, let's say, educational institutions to create an ecosystem that support ICPC aspirants?
It's about incentives for everyone is different. When we think about students, I think they know that they have to struggle, they have to build the skills and they have to make sure that they can apply to jobs and get the job, right? But then the incentives for other two things, which are educational institutions and job recruitment, are different. Probably having final mile 1 year kind of program which every college kind of decides on the curriculum that this is what they will follow. Almost like a JEE or kind of an exam which is a common test that happens across years to grade that candidate multiple times. Every company uses that same metric to hire, and then the college is also supporting that metric is probably the world where it can solve the problem. But then again, it's two different companies also want to hire evaluating on different metrics.
There is one challenge in this. If we make it too competitive, let's say multiple exam and you are rating students based on their performance, then it will be too hectic for the student. Maybe they want to be able to focus on other things, let's say research or something. For example, in our college, I went to one similar camp in 2018. Because of that camp, my attendance was short by 0.5%. Like one attendance was short because I participated in the camp. A professor failed me in that subject. So you said that in your country they are giving direct admissions. In my college they didn't give me one attendance. I think educational institutes should also support it.
Attendance policy I think is one of the biggest issue, right? Like, I mean, why do people have attendance systems? Because probably you aren't teaching something in the class that the student wants to, and that's why
they don't want to attend.
That's why they want to attend.
Even in the camp, like it's not compulsory for them. They came here because they see the value. that if we are coming here, we'll competing, we will be learning new stuff. So they came from different parts of the country. Like there is no attendance required. In the college, students from the same campus are reluctant to go to the class. Also show the value, create some values for.
Plus a little bit policies around like hiring teachers in India should also improve, I feel. There has to be some sort of relevant experiences on certain subjects or certain skills, and mandate on colleges to have professors on certain skills. At the end, like we are now living in that age where things are getting void even in like 5 years, and then there are people with pre-built skills of maybe 10-20 years old. So
how is the community in Iran doing, like the alumni community? For example, I know you are organizing Rayan, senior community, senior competitive programmers who are now passed out from their colleges. They are organizing like a very big event. Community in Iran is pretty active. They are giving back a lot.
Few universities that are good in competitions, we have some teachers that really support the competition and really understand what is this and how much this is important. Some universities with not that good students, very normal students, they get successful in competitions. Why? Because they have a supportive teacher. So that young supportive teacher really fight for them.
But yeah, the scene is changing.
Yeah.
For example, in a lot of new age technical institutes, the teachers who are just industry graduates, like I myself come from industry, now I am teaching. You yourself is from industry and you are teaching. You have been through the whole CP journey. Then if a student asks you that I want to go to a camp or something, I want to go for a training, you will definitely understand. If my student asks me, I'll even say, okay, let's go. I'll also go with you. From the Olympiad or from the ICPC community start coming in the teaching field, this will change. Right now I have hundreds of sheets, like which student is solving which problem, like depending on their level, what kind of problem you should give them. If people like this start coming in the industry, then I guess the scene will change. Thanks Arpa and Vivek, it was really nice discussing with you. So yeah, I've learned a lot of things. Like first of all, what are the different things different countries are doing, that was informative, and the kind of support you said your teachers provided you and the kind of culture is there, that was also like completely different for me. Like the kind of things you shared, like how there are different kind of people in a sport and you need to build a different motivation for different people, and that was really insightful.